A man sees a girl and thinks she's cute, beautiful, attractive, or just seems like the sort of girl he'd like to speak to and get to know more. He thinks of how to best approach her. He doesn't want to come across as a creep. He even notices the girl look toward him and smile. He's not sure if it was him she smiled at, but he'll take the chance and thinks she might just be doing that. He doesn't want to seem desperate. He thinks it through the best he can and makes his move. He walks up to her as she's having a laugh with some of her friends, introduces himself, and just asks what her name is. She looks at him like he's some sort of a creep, looks at her friends, and bursts out laughing. The man, obviously uncomfortable, walks back. And mind you, the guy is better than average looking, makes great money, and definitely gets girls approaching him as well. He never rejects them for his ego though, and I guess that's the difference between men and women. Later on, the same girl thinks in her head how she thought the guy who approached her that day was cute, but just couldn't muster up the courage to talk to him, and instead wanted her friends to think that she's the cool boss. Babe guys are always running after. So that's a story most of you will be familiar with. It happens all around us. Women want men to approach them so that they can reject them and get a free ego massage topped with a bonus spa session. I'm being both sarcastic and speaking figuratively, of course. We are just tired of the BS women are up to these days. Recording men in the gym just for looking at them, and labeling men as creeps for approaching them. Women have just become entitled princesses who can do no wrong, and the average man is looked at as the predator who is thirsty for approaching a woman. I see why dudes are packing and going overseas. I know why. Half of men now avoid approaching women. This is why men don't even bother approaching them. Men have been treated as punch bags by society for decades. Women want to be passive and put all of the risks on men to approach them, and for many other things. And they can sit back and analyze and criticize men for their perceived poor decisions, or they disagree with their approach. If they can do it better, go ahead. But fear and insecurity keep them from doing so. Men are expected to overcome those fears and insecurities no matter what. Hypocrisy at its finest. Feminism has been a boon in one aspect alone, to give women some confidence, which ends up becoming aggressiveness, which turns men off. In a big way, they should take that confidence to approach a guy they may have an eye on, not with the intention of starting a relationship, but maybe just to get to know that person. It doesn't have to mean being friend-zoned. The main reason why they don't is that they don't want to be treated like how they treated men when being approached. Rude rejection is something they need to accept in their day-to-day lives, just so they can even slightly understand what a man goes through. When you are young, approaching a woman and asking for a date is profoundly intimidating because all kinds of fears pop into your head. Women usually do like going on a date, because who knows what will come of it. You may find a guy you want to marry, and he may want to marry you, but find out a bit about each other, and then go from there. Put all your pride and arrogance out of your life, guys and gals, and behave like you want to see others behave towards you. Then you can enter into a mutually respectful and uplifting experience. Marriage is hard work sometimes, so don't think it is this endless bliss because you are burning rocket fuel at a rapid rate. For a fair while, that will disappear, and then you are left with who that person is at their core. So, use your brain. This is sometimes wasted advice, and I've been there too. Honestly, it's just common sense. If you tell someone something enough times, eventually, they'll get it and just move on. That's kind of why guys are just abandoning the dating world. You either self-isolate because you feel that society wants you dead, or you're just content with your life and the things that you do have. The point is, you realize that you have to accept that you made a bad decision. But women in this day and age don't want to accept the fact that they wasted something, and they have to accept that again. Logically, you really should have seen this coming. No wonder men are careful. We live in a world where there is always a chance we end up on social media as a story they will use to get attention, respect, or bolster their feminism. And the worst case, they'll shame you with a name, picture, or video just for them to feel better about themselves. Fear and respect go hand in hand with all things in nature. You fear the predator in the wild enough so that you respect it enough not to approach. One misadventure in our civilized society can cause a man a complete loss of his reputation, finances, and in the worst case, freedom. Being angry at the predator is irrelevant because it is in its nature. The overriding question, whether with investing money, playing sports, or approaching a woman, what is my likelihood of success? If a man is not in the top 2%, then he is more likely to start a business and see it provide a good income for him in 5 years than to approach a woman and get married a few years later. It is very likely that if a man approaches a woman, she will see him as a creep and potential predator. If Western women demand to be equal to men, it is only fair to change the rules in dating. Women should approach men when they are interested. The worst a woman could face is rejection. Now, that is being equal. The good men know women are liberated today, so a man should not have to pay for dinners, open car doors, and do all the things men used to do. Too many women want their cake and eat it too, and it should no longer be the man who asks the woman out. Women should have to do it too. Women have lost a lot over the years, but they bring it on themselves now. Today, men have decided just not to indulge in any behavior that allows women to disrespect and invalidate them. Women's behavior towards men has just gone down the drain, and men have realized this. They have chosen their reputation, integrity, and respect over the disrespect and humiliation extended by women towards them. Seriously, I'd be much better off not approaching women, because I swear, I've heard stories of women calling the cops over guys approaching them. Obviously, there was nothing wrong with the guys, it was just that they did not fit their profile in the looks and money departments. So, why would I or anyone put myself through something like this? It doesn't make sense. Also, I think a very high percentage of women are just not even worth approaching anymore. I think that's what they want, to be publicly valued by men, so they can show off in their circles, humiliate the guy, and feel validated, which isn't happening for her, because there aren't any more guys approaching them. Men are now starting to wake up and understand all of this. They don't have time to waste worrying about women who make interacting with them pointless. Women don't appear to be aware of how essentially rigged the game is against guys. They desire what they desire. Men will also no longer engage in accepting the unsupportive behaviors of women. They're done being used for nothing. This is happening in 2023, and I predict this will keep on happening for the next 10 years. After that, there will come a time when it will be normal for guys to not approach women, and women will have to really work to get a man's attention to get a bit of the free validation they used to get before. For women, it's always about validation, and that's never going to change, no matter how independent, woke, or liberated they become. They will always need guys and other women to validate them for everything they do. Here's the problem. Women expect men to approach them the same way they've been approaching them in the past. But in the past, circumstances were different. Men and women were more comfortable in their own skin and in their own gender. Men knew they were responsible for providing for women, and women knew they were responsible for taking care of the men and for giving birth to children and raising families. So, the norm at that time allowed men to approach women and allowed women to expect that men would approach them. If more women understood this, they might not be complaining about men not approaching them. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.